Solid Waste Management District on July 8th at 2:01 p.m. Roll call, please.
Ron West,
Present.
Kevin Walls,
Present.
Brian Baird,
Present.
David Lexi, John Ditmars, Susie Quells, Mark Myers.
Present.
Sir, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first item is approval of minutes from the May 13th meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Who's on?
I'm hoping Angela's on. I see Shay is on, but did you? Yeah.
All right, let's finish this up. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries. Special meeting bid opening on June 10th, 2024, and bid award on June 19th, 2024. Just need a motion to approve that bid, opening dates, meetings.
So moved. Second.
First and a second, those will
I'm sorry,
go.
who was that first? Thank
Ron. Sorry, Commissioner West. Or Ron.
Everybody's Ron, Mark, Kevin,
The good
Brian.
thing is he's not John, so we're okay.
Oh, it's Ron?
Yep, okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Carries. Treasurer's report. She frozen in time or is she asleep? Oh, she's awake.
Well, that's
That's
That's Shay.
Shay.
Okay.
Is there more than one person on?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can.
Okay. I don't know. I'm having some issues. Okay, so I am looking for approval for claims dated May 2024, July 8th, 2024, totaling $168,254.
We're having some problems, aren't we?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Check register.
Angela.
She's talking to somebody out there. Does anybody have any questions on the check register? Ron, do you got any questions on it?
No.
I can certainly
No.
answer any questions of this.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Check registers carries. Thanks, Ange. So
Thank you.
CAC committee report, Sac System overview and budget discussion and approval.
Shay, I think that's all you.
Okay, hi everybody. It's been a couple of years since I've been to one of the meetings, so good to see everyone. I am here to kind of, I guess, summarize real briefly because you guys are going at lightning speed this time. The budget we had met in June to discuss as a committee, and we do agree with the proposed budget. So that I hope that you guys are on board as well. Additionally, we discussed the building, the forthcoming building, and all of us are excited to see how we can share what we love with the community, how we can do all the things, the reduce, reuse, recycle, all of that, both for ourselves and what we, like I said, what we love, but also getting the youth and other members in Johnson County that or other citizens in Johnson County to see what we have to offer and how we can help them. We have recently had latex paint recycling. We've had shredding events, Tox Box Saturdays, and I believe the next one we have is in August for more Saturday. I think Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was August 17th that we have our next one. So we're still involved with everyone and reaching out to get everybody to participate, and we're here to help however we can.
Okay, anybody got any questions?
Thank you.
Rhonda,
Well, I need to address this to her, or we're talking budget now, right? Or maybe I just
Oh,
address
no, we
this
do the
to
budget at the end, so.
Jesse.
Yeah.
On your proposed here, why did you not list the 24?
Do we wanna talk budget now, or do we
Expenses.
wanna wait?
I thought that's what we were on, the budget. No? What's she talking about?
I was talking about how, as the Citizens Advisory Committee, we had
I'm sorry.
looked at everything and we agree with what's being proposed to you guys that we'll discuss here in a few minutes.
Okay.
everybody good with her? Okay, thank you for your report.
Yep.
See ya. Okay. Jesse,
Okay, thank
you're
you.
up for director's report.
Thank you, Shay, and I do also want to welcome Mark and Becky as well. Of course, generally, Mark is actually the one that does the presentation, so we were thrilled to have Shay with us again. So I'm going to get her back in for November, hopefully. Although Mark and Becky have officially retired now, so they might be able to make that November meeting as well.
Retirement's a figment of their imagination
Oh.
when they do.
Yes. They did just get back from an amazing trip from Alaska, though. Now, which is funny because he's actually tan and he went to Alaska. I'm a little confused by that.
It was sunny.
Closer to the sun.
But yeah, so as always, I love my people. I'm very blessed by our Citizens Advisory Committee. So, I'm glad they continue to serve. And so on to our summer programs. I did put in lunch and learns for under summer programs, but really they're going to start at the end of summer and they are going to go through probably December. I started recognizing that some of the things I was doing for the libraries might be better served for us to also try and bring them in-house. Set them up around a lunchtime, and if we get 15, 20 people into our, in our conference room to be able to discuss some of the programs, some of the things, it will not only give them something interesting to do and learn about our community or learn how to care for something, but it will also give us the opportunity to start spreading the word of us moving and what we are hoping to achieve as we move, and letting them know that we will have this space available for them and other community events after we get there. So we're really excited about that. Carla and I are putting our heads together this week on I have a couple ideas for our starts, but I do want to have a calendar set out ahead of time before I post that. So I thought that would be a great opportunity again for us to not only bring in some of our programs that we already do out to the public during an hour time frame at our location, but educate them on our upcoming changes. And speaking of upcoming changes and educating the public, we had a wonderful opportunity to present to the Trafalgar Town Council why the recycling district and the community as a whole hopefully felt that if they were going to go back and think about incorporating trash curbside pickup, that they looked at it more as a solid waste unit and not just trash, and that they included recycling in their pickup. And in doing that, I gave a presentation about the importance of recycling and thinking about that, and the fact that it is a commodity and it is something valuable. And the perfect opportunity arose with this video. So we have a 5-minute video to show you about Amcor, which of course is right in our backyard, that hopefully will explain why when I do speak about recycling, I do speak about commodities and the importance of manufacturing in that. So.
My name is Eric Rivard. I'm a multi-site director here for Amcor Rigid Packaging. I'm based here in the Franklin, Indiana facility. Facility opened in 1979, and we currently employ about 200 people. Over the course of a year, we manufacture roughly 4.6 billion pieces of packaging. Everything we make is 100% recyclable, and our hope is that you recycle on a daily basis. PET is the most recycled plastic in the world. It's ideal for packaging, it's clear, it's durable, and it can be shaped into many different forms. So the first and most important step is obviously collecting the PET bottle from the consumer. So it needs to be recycled. And once it's recycled, then it's sent to specialty handling where it's cleaned free of contamination, turned into a flake form, and returned to us, which then will be reintroduced into our product stream. And then we have a 2-step process here. Essentially what we do is we use injection molding to make what we call a preform, which is actually very small, looks like a little tube. and then it goes into a blow molding process where they actually blow the bottle into the actual final shape of the bottle. The time frame for a bottle that goes into recycle can be back in your hands is as little as 6 weeks. So with the billions of bottles we make, the challenge is it really is a national average, only 1 in 3 bottles are recycled. And the real challenge here in Indiana is it's only 1 in 5 bottles. So there's several recognizable actions we need to take in terms of recycling content and items like PET. I think first and foremost is education. We need to educate the public the importance of recycling. In other words, we need that drive of actually getting recycling flowing and having what we call PCR, post-consumer recycled product available to us. So beyond the education piece, I think it's ease of access, ease of use. So curbside recycling solves this, and it ensures that we get our cleanest amount of what we call post-consumer recycle, and studies have found that 90% of PET with curbside recycling gets into the stream. There's a lot of states that have strong infrastructure. They offer curbside programs, they offer drop-off locations, and even in some cases, they actually look at some level of incentive, what we call a bottle incentive or deposit law. And so I think that statistics show that where we have those types of incentives, the recycle rate is roughly almost double what it is across the United States. It's 60% versus that 30% we earlier discussed. We do need to have the capability to increase the infrastructure to process and clean that recycle. And certainly we would like to have them close to where our producers are, much like we have DAC Industry here in Richmond, Indiana. Our intent as an organization is to have our facilities regionally located close to where the bottles are produced and consumed, therefore trying to keep it within that circular economy mindset. So as we utilize the recycled PET and blend it with virgin PET, that content depends on the customer perspective, or even now we're starting to see states move into legislation where we're requiring recycled content anywhere from as low as 15% to as high as 100%. And given those customers now moving towards higher content of that recycled rate, it means that we need to get everybody doing their part by recycling. Recognize there's always going to be a need for packaging. At the end of the day, if you recycle it, it will get repurposed, reused right here in Indiana, and we'll make sure that we keep our economy strong, grow the economy here for us, grow jobs, and ensure we have a circular Indiana.
So oftentimes we talk about the concept of a circular Indiana, and with that, I've explained, especially with Pratt, when we collect the cardboard, we know the cardboard's collected here. We make sure that it gets shipped back out to Pratt in such a way that they put it right into their facilities. They break it down, they remanufacture those cardboards, and those cardboard boxes come back right back to us. That's that circular economy. And I use cardboard a lot because obviously we collect the cardboard. But when we're talking about the plastic, we collect those plastic bottles too. That plastic bottle that is collected at our facility could very well end up at Amcor, which is a half mile down the road from us, to make not only another plastic bottle, but they're making your Wendy's cups and the change in the McDonald's cups. All of those things are really made in our backyard, literally, in Franklin. And so it was an awesome opportunity to be able to show that not only to Trafalgar, but to you all, so that when we are talking, and I'm saying commodity, and sometimes it's hard to think about because sometimes we still have that habit of putting that material directly into our trash, there are corporations, and many of them within Franklin, all throughout Johnson County, certainly within central Indiana, that require the material that we are collecting from the residents in order to be able to manufacture their products. That's why they have, put out a call of action to the local governments, but also the state, to try and make changes in regards to Indiana has a 50% recycling goal. That goal has been in place forever, but they've done nothing to really try and put anything behind that goal. But now we know why that goal is so important, because that same company reaches out as far as South and Central America to get their plastics because they can't get it right in their own backyard, which is crazy. Much like we were talking about with the glass industry in Indiana that has glass shipped in from California on rail because we aren't able to collect those materials, or we're able to, but we have to make some changes in our own ideology in order to make that collection happen. So as we continue forward, these are the things that I want to show our residents. This is what I want them to relate to. I want them to relate, I work at Amcor. I need to be recycling that material because that's my job. And when I speak to the public a lot, especially when I speak to chambers, these are the examples of what I bring up when we're talking. It's easy to say, well, we have the residents come through, and we are here to serve the residents, absolutely. But we want them to look beyond just us collecting that material from them at the vehicle and why we're doing it. Which is also why when we did make that change to opening up our facility, we were very determined to only take in materials that we 100% know that can be recycled, because the value in that is huge to that company. The fact that they can truly take that water bottle because it is handled properly and put it right into their process requires no extra steps. And that's why they're saying that those materials collected at the curb, so even our example as a curb, is so much more valuable to them because they know that the process has already been taken care of for them. They don't have to go through that separation of the trash and worrying about those materials. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I loved that came out right before I was able to present, so it was kind of perfect timing, so.
It is good timing. Anybody got any questions?
Do they pay for those recycled plastics?
I mean, they don't pay us because remember, we work through a waste
Yeah, I
management.
was thinking more South America, you said.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah, they pay to have that material collected and shipped up, well, they pay for all of that, but yes, they're paying for those collection rates.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how they can make a profit if they gotta pay for transportation from South America. And then
Exactly, or rail from
then sell
California, or,
Sell a bottle for 2 cents or whatever.
well, that's how they do it. They have to then charge us a lot more because we unfortunately aren't collecting materials in our backyard, so.
That's interesting, yeah, good.
Lynn is absent today, but I think she thought that you might have a legal report to offer, well, a legal piece to offer, so.
Well, Lynn is absent, so as any normal business with the board, it won't be addressed with Jacob today. He's just gonna update us on the bond and building update, so.
I appreciate it. I could make something up for a legal report real quick if that's what you guys want, but my update's gonna be very quick. We're moving right along with the bonding and the bid process. Actually, the bond has been closed. It's been closed for about 2 weeks now. Jesse reports the proceeds have been.
Yes, and you have that information
Yeah, I
actually in
saw
your
it.
packet as well, I made sure that.
So, bond council is putting final touches on really reporting of the bond, but other than that, we're wrapped up on and squared away there. Of course, we had the bids, special meeting on the bids, an award was given to Runabout Construction. That award was, of course, contingent on bond closing, which has closed. So Runabout is due a notice to proceed, and I believe Wes Harrison is taking care of that. And Commissioner Walls, I suppose I haven't spoken to you in a week or so. Is that something that's
We
been
met
done?
with Runabout,
Okay.
and we just needed the bond to close before we gave him letter of intent, so.
So other than that, we're good to go. I don't think I have any other updates for you all unless you have questions for me.
Got questions on the bond process? We've got a couple hours, you can listen to the answer.
How does it start? Oh,
Yeah, we'll
No,
start from the beginning.
yes,
Nah.
I think I've done one or two.
Yeah. I think we're good, Jake.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, and Jesse, if you heard Jesse say it was a busy 2 or 3 months, and it certainly was. So
Yep.
we're happy to help and happy to see the results of that in a year or less.
Or less,
Hopefully less.
or less.
And yes, I would like to thank everybody who was involved in that process, certainly you, Commissioner, you, Jake, but we had a great, I felt like I was involved and in the loop of everything, and what I didn't understand, people were very willing to educate me, which I needed a lot of as we were going through this bond closing. So, although it's incredible how many people are involved in the process, I do appreciate those that were always there and willing to answer questions. So I'm sure we couldn't have done it without you all because I didn't understand half of it, so.
All right, we got new business, Jesse, you're up with the budget, so Commissioner West has been over here reading it and studying it for the
Sure, yeah.
last hour.
So I do want to explain, when we were talking, and I had talked to Commissioner Walls about the fact that as we move forward with our upcoming budget, it really would look very different than our past budgets, because the reality is that we are now talking about a building that we own. So instead of saying, gas and electric, because those were our only utilities, we were needing to incorporate all the utilities. So instead of just saying, the professional services, obviously, I kept separated because those have been something that we have always had a separate line for because they all enter into their individual contracts with us. But everything else is all either a utility, an office expense, building and equipment maintenance. So what we did was we in-house, which I'm happy to expand and send to you, but we in-house moved each of those individual things in there and then added things like, sewer, water, all of the different utilities that we didn't have. I believe I mentioned after the last board meeting that we took an estimate based of some of the averages that we knew locally, but then we also called Shelby County to find out what they were spending approximately on their facility, since our footprints are very similar, in order to come out with an estimate. And I fully admit that all of this is an estimate. We have no idea because we aren't there. And we're also only going to most likely be there for 6 months of that first year. So trying to figure out what our budget should look like for that facility is very difficult as I'm sitting in my rented space in 2024. So that is why the budget is now looks like this, and is in theory, more compartmentalized so that we can say, okay, if gas cost us $2,000, but we initially budgeted $1,700, but electric cost us, $1,700 and we budgeted the $2,000, we have the money all in the utilities line instead of having to keep going back and forth and jumping in between and doing those line item transfers. We in-house still have gas, electric, water, sewer, so that we can fill those lines in so that we know how much is being spent and we're going to be able to budget for that as we're going forward. But that is why those lines are now all combined in the budget.
But for someone examining your budget year to year, consolidating them into one line and then leaving the absence of the prior expenses doesn't help.
Well, but you
So-
have all the prior expenses on the budget reports because you know how much is being spent.
So what you're saying is you want me to put your budget together?
No, this is the way I will put my
No, but that's
budget.
what you're saying. If I gotta go through the historical and then apply it,
Oh, no, I just told you that I'd be happy to, after this meeting, go back and un-Excel, but I'm telling you that there are going to be many zeros.
yeah, well, that's the way a budget works. So you would have, let's just say you never had, gas before, but you're gonna have it in the new building. Well, you just have a line item for gas. You'd show 0 in 2024, but then your projected 2025 expenses, that's the way you put it together.
Which is what I did, but we're calling it utilities because
I know,
before,
well, but
because you have to remember, Commissioner, that I would have to come every single time and ask for a line item transfer anytime that money had to go in between those two lines.
no, I'm not talking about transferring money. I'm talking about me being able to look at your 2025 budget, compare it to your 2024 expenses, and then make a determination based on that. So if I look at utilities, you got $20,000. But I don't know what you did in 2024. I got no historical, even though you've
Well,
got to
even right
consolidate.
now, I will say we've never presented the budget to you because I've just, this
I
2020.
thought we always got a line item to line item.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's just what we've put in that line, not what we've spent.
Okay, let me ask you a couple other questions.
Sure.
The nationwide retirement,
That's our 457B,
okay.
that, because we don't receive.
And when I, of course, look on here, I'm really projecting 2 months' worth of expenses, right?
Right,
So if I
and
do.
and hold on, when you also see that check, you have to remember that it's all of the money that we also personally put in. So it's not just the money that the district puts in, it's all of the money that we put in. So let's say I put 10% of my salary in, you're seeing that money plus the money that the district puts in, when you see that check.
Well, then, if I look at your revenues, where would I find that money that you put in?
You wouldn't, because that's not public record.
Well,
You would find that through my payroll.
but if you're telling me that in this $5,130. Actually, that's maybe twice that, I don't know.
So what it
But anyway, the
is,
513034, you're telling me that some of that money was yours and Carla's or somebody
a
else's?
huge portion of that money is
so-
4 of us.
So that shows up as an expense to your operation, right?
So where
Now,
you
just
would,
answer my question. Does that show up as an expense to your corporation?
no, in our payroll,
No.
I'm answering the question, so if you look at our pension 457 in budget, you will see what our actual year-to-date spent has been $12,000. So that is the expense to the district, has been $12,000. When we do the payroll, they give us the line items to move the materials in and out. So we move in and out what actually comes out of individual paychecks. So behind the scenes accounting, it will show that 4 people put in X amount of dollars from their paycheck. And then the district owes this same amount every single month. But one EFT is done to Nationwide with all of those funds incorporated.
So the money you put in, does it go to the recycling account?
No,
It goes straight
it's in
to
our
them?
right, it goes straight there. It's in our payroll, so it's just an in and out, behind the scenes accounting. It gets taken out of our payroll and put in and then transferred to. So when we do those funds, we have a payroll that's like behind the scenes payroll where we have to put X amount of dollars in there and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Then that is where those funds sit, so they come through. So the
Yeah.
district doesn't pay $5,000 a month into Nationwide. The district pays,
How much does the district
do
pay?
you have a pay word there? 11.2%, just like her.
11.2% of gross salaries?
So those are what the that's not it either, Carla, you would need to show, because that is what I am paying. That is not what, so that includes,
But if I just take 11.2% of your gross salaries?
right, that's why it's only $12,000 for the year that's been spent. No, that is how much each individually, that's not the breakdown.
Right down here is the breakdown
Oh.
as, right here.
So this 2110 is the behind the scenes accounting. That is how much is actually coming from our personal accounts. This 218034 is what the district is paying.
So this dollar amount,
2180.34?
this dollar amount right here is contributed by 4 employees. The general ledger number 2110, this dollar amount is 4 employees. Now, each of the employees, we each contribute
this-
different
this
dollar
is-
amounts. But this
That's a
is what,
seven
this is
points.
what comes out of the district's,
That's the
457 line.
11.2%?
yes, sir.
Right.
And that is taken monthly?
Yes,
Okay,
only once a month.
okay. And I just did the math on that. And that doesn't line up with what you show here.
What does it show there? 25? That's the year-to-date budget line. Right here is what,
We don't have, remember, everything we do is year to date. It's year to date to the end of the year. It's not May.
I'll let it go.
June,
I'll
July.
work on that. And then I gotta ask you, and I think I've asked you this before, I'm sure I have, but I'm gonna ask you again. On your health and medical,
That's the $10,000 stipend because we receive absolutely no
and that is
benefits.
for all full-time
All
employees?
all full-time employees.
And how come you
And we
got
do not, we get taxed on it and we do not include that in our salary.
I know that. How come you added $1 to it?
Because at the end of the year, it always comes out that there's 22 cents.
Really?
because of the way payroll is.
All right.
Then we have to
So
go line
then we have to come back and do a line item transfer for
Yeah,
22 cents.
all right. Well, I'd like to see the 2024 expenses and those items that you've consolidated. If you want to email those to me.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just,
Carla can do it.
because I have it
Sure,
broken down to, I made sure I didn't miss any lines, so I
yeah,
created it, but I just consolidated it for
yeah.
the budget.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And I do want to point out two things, actually. So I purposely did not put any more than $1 in the storm damage cleanup, but I also did not put that under special collections or anything, because I do know that we are using those funds if there is an emergency that does arise. So I will also report at the end of, in December, how much money we have received for that, so that we know that when we're looking at our bank balances, we do know that additional funds came in for that. Jeff Peters has been told to continue to ask for that so we can build those funds as long as we can. But that is why there's only $1 there and not the, 56,000 or whatever, because it will always change and fluctuate. Plus, we don't necessarily want to budget for it per se, because it's not really in the budget. It's more meant to be sitting, and we don't have a rainy day fund. So I thought that would be the easiest way for me to report to you how much was received.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. I guess we're gonna have to accept her budget unless you wanna wait. Well, you're not gonna have time to wait because we won't have, maybe you will. No, you won't.
Well, also remember, it is more, and I'm happy, again, I'll get that right this afternoon, but it's more a proceeding to the council. I like answering questions, Commissioner West, because I'd much rather you feel comfortable. So I do want you to know that I have no problem getting it to you, but that is why we proceeded the way that.
But we have to accept the budget before she submits it to the council.
I'll make a motion, we approve the budget as presented.
I don't know if you heard it. He's still calculating down there. Did you hear the motion, Ron?
Yeah. As presented. I'll go ahead and second it, and then you can send me the material.
Thank you. Yes,
If I got
yeah.
a question, I'll
Reach out,
bring
please
it
do.
up. again.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There you go, Jesse. You got a little bit of work to do with Commissioner West, and you'll be
Thank you.
able to get it submitted.
No problem. So I guess
And,
I answered the additional appropriations piece about under the new business as well, sorry, so, just making sure that that was clear.
Yep. Anybody got any other questions for Jessie while she's up there? Ask her what color the carpet's gonna be, what color the walls are gonna be. Okay. Our next meeting is on 9/9/24. Do we have any other public comment? Have a very stoic crowd today. And we only need one other thing in this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion
Second.
and we have a second. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.